Welcome to my simple video tutorial on how to make simple UI elements for your stream. Perhaps we need a small explanation to what I mean with this. In my stream, I have a simple bar, one which viewers can help fill up by spending their channel points. Once filled, it hatches a dragon, and the bar will instead be replaced by 3 color-coded bars that viewers can use their channel points on instead. These bars combined will decide the coloration of the dragon. The two programs I'll be using in this video are Unreal Engine 4 with its Blueprint code system and Streamlabs streaming and recording software. These two are in my opinion the most beginner-friendly options for their respective jobs. First, we need to create a new project. In the current version, you're given some options. We will use game and then blank. The final option screen gives us a few more options which we can mostly ignore. You could change the quality to scalable 3D or 2D if your computer isn't that strong, but honestly it won't really matter in this small of a project. Rename your project and you're ready to go. Now that we have our project going, we'll have to add our widget. To do that, we will right-click in the content browser and go to User Interface and pick Widget Blueprint. I'll name mine blueprint_widget. Then we'll go ahead and save all to make sure the level is saved. Next, we're gonna make sure that the widget actually starts up when we start the program. To do this, we go to the Blueprints tab and click on Open Level Blueprint. In here, we'll be using blueprint nodes. Blueprints are essentially code in a more manageable form, which we can connect to each other. While this might not be a very in-depth guide to blueprints, I will explain what we are doing throughout the video. Event Begin Play is an event that triggers upon starting the level. Dragging up from this node and typing Create Widget will get us the node that will start our widget. Select your widget here. When it is an owning player, you simply need to drag out and type Get Player Controller, and that's it. It's a good habit to be compiling and saving often, or you might get unwanted errors. We won't need the event tick node for our project, so we can just delete it. Now we drag off the return value and type Add to Viewport. This will ensure it actually shows up in our program. There are 2 more things we need to do here. Pull off from the Add Viewport node and type in Set Input Mode and pick UI Only. Get the player controller just like before. Then you pull up from the player control node and type in Set Show Mouse Cursor, checking the box and connecting it to the input node. This will make sure the cursor will not disappear for you. We won't need to do anything more in the level blueprint, so you can close the tab and open the widget we created. In here we'll be making a button which we can customize to our liking. The simplest in my opinion is changing the background color to black and adding a text by dragging it on top of the button. We will have a plus and a minus button, so we'll change the text to a plus sign and hit enter. Reshape and relocate it as you will, and we will proceed to create other buttons. Since we're making 2 bars in this tutorial, we'll be needing 4 buttons, 2 of each type. Let's rename it real quick to bar+1. We can make more of our already customized button by selecting it and hitting Ctrl+W. This will duplicate it for us, making a standalone copy of the selected object. You can also right-click and click Duplicate here. We will duplicate 2 more times, renaming as we see fit and placing them in a decent placement, changing the plus text to a minus text on 2 of them. Now for the main reason we're here, the progress bars. Simply pull 2 out and rename them to bar 1 and bar 2. Let's replace and resize them a tiny bit. Now if you want to be very symmetrical, you can go over to right and check the positions and sizes on a selected object. With this you can make sure they line up, X being left to right, while Y is up to down. As we can see, the bars aren't the same size since we did not duplicate them. This can be remedied by utilizing the size X and Y on the right to make sure that they match up as well. I'm making these a bit smaller to be able to fit the other parts later on, but if you're only gonna have 1 or 2 bars, feel free to make them as big as you want. Just like the buttons, we can customize the bars in various ways. Different images, bar fillers like waves and similar. We're only gonna be changing the fill color on one of them and leaving the other one untouched for now. Always compile and save. We're gonna need some variables to control how much the bar is filled up. Head on over to the Graph tab on the upper right, and in here we can delete all of the preset nodes. On the left side we can see a box with the rigid variables. Right now we only got the buttons and bars that we made in the Designer tab. To make a new one, click on the plus in the variables, and rename it something like bar1% and turn it into a float value. Duplicate it so we have one for our second bar as well. A float variable is a number with decimals, like 2.5. Before we change the value, we need to compile the widget, which will make it appear on its default 0. Now we need to make the buttons connect to the variables in our blueprint, so that we can actually increase and decrease the number. There are 2 ways to add a button to your blueprint. The first one is in the Designer tab. Selecting our button and scrolling down to the bottom will present us with several options. They're pretty self-explanatory, so I won't go into them. Since we're going to be clicking our buttons, we'll be picking that option. This will take us back to the Graph tab with our new event in hand. The second way to add a button to the graph is to go to the variable windows on the left. Selecting a button and the same option will be presented here. If it's already been added, it will instead say View, which will take you to the button instantly. We will add our connected button and get to work. We want the button to affect the bar1 float variable, which means a number between 0 and 100. Dragging it out will give the options to either set or get it. Get will get us the value to use in various ways, while set will make an event to set the value to a new one. If you hold Ctrl and drag it out, it will automatically select get for you, and holding Alt will select the set option instead. We can connect the click event to our set node directly, but to get a proper value, we will need to drag off from the get node and type in plus, since we want to add one value each time we click it. And to make sure that our value does not go above or below our bar's range of 0 to 100, we will use a clamp node from a minimum 0 to a maximum 100, before connecting it to the new set value node. To align nodes, select them and click Q. Now we will do the same for our minus button. We get our get and set nodes, and connect the set node to our button. This time, however, we will get a float minus float node instead of a plus one, before repeating the clamping process and connecting it to the set node. Compile and save. To make our second bar buttons work, we add our own clicked events and select everything except the buttons on the earlier event. Right-click to scroll down and hit Ctrl plus W, just like before, to duplicate it. Then we connect it to the new button. Now you might notice that the nodes relate to the first value, while the button is for the second bar. We can quickly replace the float value with another one by dragging it over the node, which will say, change node to read bar 2%. We do this for both the get and the set nodes. If you don't hover over the correct area, however, you might cause some other things to happen, so be careful. We will do the same for the minus button. Add on click event, duplicate the nodes, connect and replace the float values, and then we have all the 4 buttons connected. While the buttons are connected to the values, the bars are not, so if we click play now, nothing will actually happen when we click on the buttons. So if we head over to the Designer tab once more, we can select our bar, and on the right side we can bind our percentage number. We have no function made yet, so we can create one for it. Here we will get our bar 1% value, but if we use it directly, it will not work as we want it to. Most things in the Unreal Engine 4 program, bar percentages included, use a 0 to 1 system to determine whether it's empty or full, so when we add that 1 to the value, it sees that it's being instantly full. So what we need to do in this scenario is to divide our value. To disconnect nodes from each other, simply alt-click the connection. Since we are using a 0 to 100 clamp, all we need to do is divide our value with 100 to get our right percentages. Connecting that will ensure the bar to get filled relative to our value. 1 might be a bit small, so we're going to change it to 10 by simply changing the plus and minus values we set earlier. Thanks to the clamp, our value won't go above 100 no matter what. If instead it had gone to say 110, we'd have to click twice to get it back down below 100. Even the functions themselves can be duplicated just like all the others. To do this, we select the function and hit Ctrl+W. Renaming it something we will recognize, and then just like before, replace the value with bar2%. However, this one is not connected yet, and we will have to do so manually inside the Designer tab, where we will select our second bar. Click bind on the percent, and instead of hitting create, we select the bar2 function. Now our first darker bar with 10% per click, as well as our lighter one with 1% per click, works perfectly fine. All we need to do now is implement it into our Streamlab app scene. To actually use these, we need to finalize our quote-unquote game. But before we can do that, we need to make sure that the correct map opens up when we start the applications. Otherwise we will just see a black screen. Then we go to File, Package Game, Windows, and pick 32 or 64-bit depending on your setup. It will package into a folder called Windows No Editor, and you click the application to start it. Alright, we got our scene here, a little camera, our game is running, and we want the bar to be on top of our camera. We'll add a window capture or game capture, both works for me, might work better or worse depending on your setup. We control it by tabbing into the window, and it will show up on the screen perfectly well. Now we take the sides and hold Alt to drag the screen up, and it will crop it. Do this for each side until only the bar shows. Now we can place it wherever we want. To increase only width or height, hold Shift when you drag it instead. This way we can make the bar longer or shorter, for example. And there we have it. Now we have a bar we can manually control, with lots of customization options. Thank you anyone for watching, and I hope it was helpful.